Here we are. It's live. It's Friday. Let's do the damn thing, huh? Oh, we got a big show. Big show coming up today. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. We are live on Twitch. Wherever you are watching from, gracias. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. We got a big show today. We got a big announcement at the end of today's show about Monday's show, about next week. Do you know who already knows what's coming up on Monday? Those who follow us on Patreon, who are our patrons. If you want to become in the know, jump on that link in the comments or in the comments of wherever you're watching this program. Joe's in the house. Happy Friday, Joe. Doing all the things, man. Love it. Join that Patreon, man. We got a bunch of big stuff coming through the Patreon. I want you to be in the know about it. Get access to it. Today's show, actor, singer, songwriter Ty LaPlaunt is on the program today. He's coming up in under 10 minutes. Ty will join the show. He actually sent us a clip of his new single. We're going to play the clip of his new single. 27 seconds of it so it doesn't get taken off of the streaming platforms. Because they'll do that shit. They'll pull it right off. They don't care. Also, hanging out in the great state of Hawaii, actually stationed in the great state of Hawaii, United States Air Force Staff Sergeant and singer-songwriter Derek Skelton is going to be joining us coming up after 6 o'clock. So it's a busy show today. And you here, and you a part of it. Simple to be a part of it in the comment sections of wherever you are watching. Jump on board. We doing the damn thing today. We got some lattes. It's Friday, right? There we go. Busch Light is not a proud sponsor of this particular show, but if they were, we'd put their sign right there. Thank you to Monster Energy, the Monster Energy Studios. As you can see, they're coming together. We got more pieces and parts coming in. It's crazy. Excited, though. Joe's in. Just listen to Derek. Yeah, Island Girl, his latest song. We're going to talk about that. And he's in Hawaii. It's, what did he say? It's sometime in like the middle of the afternoon where he's at. So he's enjoying Hawaii. Well, as much as he can. He's stationed out there. So, but we'll chat with him. I think Ty's over in LA. So they're both enjoying. It's not bad here, though. We had a nice day today. 50. What do we have here today? 55 degrees right now. 55 on March 19th. Yeah, we'll take it. Got some 60s in the forecast today. Yes, sir. I'm going to enjoy it, man. Enjoy the stuff. Lots going on in the news today. We'll get to a couple of headlines before Ty jumps on the program here. It is now safe to be 3 feet away from other people. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. The CDC now recommends 3 feet of social distancing instead of the previous recommendation of 6, which was in effect for the last year. Like it took us that long to figure that out. 3. It's now 3 feet. 3 feet of social distancing is now acceptable. It says only in schools, but I mean, come on. They obviously did that research. I talked about it yesterday a little bit, how the actual research that they had, that whole 6 feet thing, that was really more based on some scientific data that was done back in the 1850 something, when they were worried about bubonic plagues and other things. Like, 6 feet sounds good. Like, we have some new technology, don't we? Pretty sure we do. So now it's 3 feet. 3 feet and you're golden, according to the CDC. Got to make you feel better about stuff, though, right? Like now we only need to have 3 feet to be safe. Huh. Interesting stuff, man. It's been weird though. It's weird to watch human beings interact. I've had to go to, stores and stuff this week. I've been out in the public and doing the things, and it's just weird. That's especially when you know that the 6 feet thing is baloney. You're like, man, people really stand on those X's. Like, and if you're like a bigger store, you have like specially made stickers that stick on the floor. You're like, wow, people really listen well. For a country who is known for not listening very well, we listen very well. It's amazing. I don't know. It's crazy. This is the thing that we're like, okay, sounds good. We'll follow along. I will not question anything. I will go along. This sounds good. But I digress. Joe says, I get a kick out of people in vehicles alone wearing masks. Dumbasses. Yeah, that's weird, right? Like, everybody okay in there? Super safe in my vehicle. I like it though. There was a big upset apparently in the NCAA. Ohio State got upset in overtime. So if you're a bracketeer, if you're doing your brackets, like I think the story just came out. I'm trying to pull it up here. Only 0.42% of NCAA.com brackets are still perfect after Oral Roberts' wild upset over Ohio State. Yeah, I just don't get into brackets, especially in a year that's still weird. Is there any? I don't think there's any fans in the studios actually, or in the stands. It's all in the bubble down in Indiana. Different bubbles though. Same hotel, different hotels, and then they have like they're playing at a couple different arenas, which is kind of weird. But no fans. Well, there's some fans. I think it's like family only, which is kind of odd. But everybody's bracket just got screwed. Like, boom. That's why I didn't fill one out. Mostly because Wisconsin is horrible. I am just shocked that they're actually in the tournament. I was like, hey, the NIT, I'd watch that. They're just so bad. Pete said, or Joe says basketball sucks. Pete Scott, it is. It's one upset and 0.42% of NCAA.com brackets are still perfect. So that's 99.68. Whoa. I just did math on a show on Friday. Thank you, folks. That'll be it for the day. I appreciate you all for coming out and supporting the program. We mean it. I didn't fill out a bracket this year, though. After last year's debacle, not knowing what was going to happen this year, and I was like, I got other great things I can waste my money on, like new equipment for the studio. Got the new cameras in. We're running. The new Audition is running. It's great. Super excited to get to my first guest today on Cooperville Live. Ty and I went back and forth for like 3 weeks trying to get him on the show. He was busy, I was busy. He was booked, I was booked. It was like today, tomorrow. So we finally got life figured out, and he's here. He is now Ty
yes, sir.
On the show. He's here. Good to see you, my friend.
How are you, man? Dude, we made it happen. I'm so glad that I'm here finally.
All good things, they say. All good things, patience and virtue.
All those that wait. Right, exactly. So if it sounds like I'm doing this in a cave right now, it's because I just moved into this apartment, and so I haven't yet to fill it up with things that can actually block the sound. So
absorb noise.
Yeah. So the reverb sounds amazing. I can't really tell though.
No, I think it seems like it's going to be a good place to do some vocal work though. You got nice full sound.
Yeah, I think my neighbors are becoming very accustomed to me having moved into the place. I think everyone throughout the building is aware that I'm here now. So it all works out.
Well, I'm super glad you're here as well. I'm glad we
Thanks, man.
finally got it all figured out to join the program. I just got new camera, so I'm trying to like adjust things so I don't like super goofy on here. But
Yeah. Nice setup.
I was again, this has been the greatest, I think, addition to this program is for some reason Instagram has decided to just fill their algorithm for me with these fantastic musicians and artists and stuff.
Yeah.
So I just scroll and listen, and then something will catch my ear, and I'm like, I will reach out to that fella and see if he wants to talk about music and things like that. And your stuff came up. It was one of your songs, a cover song you were doing, and I was like, dude, this guy's voice is just,
oh man,
it's just insane how
Thank
good
you.
your voice is.
Thank
And
you.
and then I jump on your page, and you're an actor and you're a singer and you're a songwriter, and you're just like doing all sorts of things. So I'm like, this fella I want to talk to. We made it happen. And we do have
awesome, man.
You have the clip of your new song. We're going to play that a little bit later on.
Yeah. So fun. I'm excited about that. Yeah.
But I want to talk to you about like your path into to where you are now. Are you out in LA?
I'm in Lebanon, Tennessee. So I'm in.
Oh, well, thank goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I know, man. I was there. I've been there for 9 years, or I was there for 9 years, and I actually just relocated this year. I had been, it was just time to get out and shake some things up for sure. But I was there for 9 years, and I was born actually in Memphis, so it is kind of nice to be a Tennessee native again. But yeah, I'm like 30 minutes outside of Nashville right now. So
Nashville is such a hub. I want to see if anybody can see this. I got my I Believe in Nashville.
Nice. I got to get one of those. Yeah. I got to get more Nashville gear.
I got this right after the tornado hit
a
year ago. And then it was
around this time last year. Exactly. I think. Yeah.
Because it was like a week before they shut everything down for COVID. I'm like, oh man, like I doubly believe in Nashville now.
I know, dude. It was like Kobe. The thing with Kobe happened, and then the thing with Nashville happened, and then COVID came, and it was just like a whirlwind of things at the same time.
That's crazy because people don't, when people think back to 2020, they always, the thing is obviously COVID because it consumed most of the year. But I'm like, man, think back to the end of January when Kobe passed.
I know.
That was
crazy.
You realized how much of an impact he had, not just as an athlete, but as a human being.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, everybody's kind of down on that. And then like Nashville gets hit with this huge tornado. It's all over the news.
Right.
And then Nashville gets no attention because every major city in the country gets locked down.
I know.
COVID. So
I know.
What a wild year, man.
Crazy. We made it through though.
Still standing.
Still standing strong, man. Yeah, we're here.
So I want to talk about you getting into music. I mean, I think growing up in a place like Tennessee, and especially like Memphis, who has it's another great music scene kind of place. Like when did the bug get you to be, pursuant of I'm going to say just music, because obviously there's an acting element into it too, but to be a part of I call them the big dreamers, like an idea that's not like, hey, I have a path that's go to high school, graduate, go to college, get my degree in this, and then go into a field that's appropriate.
Right.
The dreamers ones go like, I'm going to go do this thing that a very small percentage of people, can do. Like, where does this start for you as a kid?
Well, for me, so I'll clarify real quick. I was born in Memphis. My dad's job actually moved us to Colorado at a very young age. So I actually grew up in Colorado and then graduated high school. Then immediately was just like, I'm going to become an actor, and just moved to LA. But I think I had always really loved music. I mean, I got my first guitar when I was 16 years old for my birthday. And I've always been obsessed with like movie scores and movie soundtracks and things like that. And, but it was never really a thing early on. It was always, my mind was so focused on acting. And I think from that standpoint, because it is a different avenue of just storytelling in general, I think that it naturally developed into a passion for me to want to just start writing songs and really pursuing it. But the way that it kind of happened was I eventually got a vocal coach when I was in LA, because I started to go out on a lot of auditions that required me to sing. And I was okay, but and there was a lot of talented people there that were going in these rooms, and I could hear them, and I'm like, man, they're so good. Like I gotta like brush up on this. And so I reached out to a vocal coach and we started working in late 2019. And then eventually it just turned into me doing it just for the sole purpose of me getting better at going into these auditions. And then it became like, I just want to sing more and just get better. And then 2020 happened, and there was a time where I would just, I mean, if I show you my voice memos, it's flooded with just random guitar riffs and stuff like that, that I was like, this would sound really cool in a song, but I never really explored it. I just wasn't focused on it. And then 2020 happened, and I was quarantined in a 350 square foot apartment by myself, and I couldn't go to work. And so I just kind of went back through my memos and just really sat down and started writing. And I just fell in love with the process of it. And so it happened really, really recent. And I connected with a few people that are brilliant songwriters, and it just turned into a passion really, really quickly, as of like a year ago. So, but yeah.
Well, good on your vocal coach. Cause like I said, I one of your clips popped up on my Instagram, and I was like, dude, like, how is this guy not like on a major label somewhere? And you could kind of, I mean, there's pop, there's the country vibe to it. There's some alt.
Right.
I mean, your voice is so dynamic that I think it can cross over to many genres.
Thanks.
So I mean, it makes sense that you're, more recently, solely focusing on this adventure. But as far as the songwriting process goes, like where do you draw from? I mean, 2020 was a weird experience,
sure,
for everybody. But as far as like, remember the old days, like 2019. remember all the fun we used to have.
Oh yeah, man.
We could
it seems like 50 years ago.
I know, it's ridiculous.
And I wasn't even born 50 years ago. That seems like that.
But I bet neither was I. But I bet it was much like this, without the grace of technology that we can afford to do these kind of conversations.
I know, right? Thank God.
But where do you draw from? I mean, there's life experience. There's when you listen to somebody else's music and you kind of get a vibe or something. But for your songwriting process, like where do you draw inspiration from when you're writing stuff down to put pen to paper and then from there into recording?
Yeah, for sure. So for me, I've always been such a melody guy, and I would just sit down and write melodies all day long. And so lyrically, it's kind of one of those things where personal experience and stuff like that. Like I wrote a song about I was in 2 long distance relationships in my past. And it was kind of one of those things where, and especially the long distance thing with COVID. And it was kind of like, oh, it's kind of cool. Yeah. It's maybe a concept that I can do. And so it was just things like that. And I'm heavily influenced by Ed Sheeran and the way that he writes his lyrics, and how a lot of it is just so practical. And a lot of it is about love. And I do that as well. I write a lot of love songs and hopeful stuff and maybe heartbreak stuff, but it does kind of come from me studying other artists and the way that they write their lyrics, and like why are they writing the way that they're writing, and but a lot of it is from personal experience and past experience stuff that I never really explored until now, and so it is kind of fun to kind of go back and really kind of just let myself explore that and let myself feel what I felt in those moments, and try to articulate it into a story.
I think that's it. I'm going to say it's such a guy thing, but it is something that guys do. Like you go through, whether it's a breakup or whether it's an issue in a relationship or in a job, like you never like sit with it. You know what I mean? Like you never today sucked. Let me sit down. Let me take an hour after my day and analyze exactly why I reacted the way I did. I felt the way I did. Let me get my emotions out. It's not really. Again, I'm standardizing guys here. But I think that's when you talk about songwriting, that's like the secret sauce is to be able to go back to those moments and reflect on them and say, man, like, okay, now I get it. Now I understand why I felt this way. Their actions, was it my actions? Was it a misunderstanding? But to be able to take that raw emotion and to put it down into a song, I think that's where the genius of studying other structures songwriters really comes into
Absolutely.
play, because you go, I get it. I get how he's, whatever, verse chorus.
Articulating, or
Yeah.
And I think too, a lot of it is like it's scary to be vulnerable and to kind of write stuff into a song and like express it to people and allow people to kind of let you in on what you're going through. And it's, I think that you at first you don't really know how to process when emotions are so raw. And so it is kind of nice to just really go back and experience all of that and finally just allow myself, because at the end of the day, like with acting and with songwriting, I think I relate acting to music so much just because of my experience with acting and how it's the same thing. You're just really letting go and really allowing yourself to just be and be vulnerable and not be afraid to show yourself. And it's the same thing with songwriting and singing. It's you're connected to each moment specifically, and you're kind of just like a vessel of trying to tell a story and tell it in the most honest way possible. So I kind of relate it like that.
Yeah, and I think that's how you connect with an audience too. Is when Absolutely. You have an experience and you're able to articulate that onto a song, and others cannot maybe have had that same experience that you had, but can put it into a place where they're like, oh yeah, like I've felt these emotions that this guy felt. The circumstances were different, but and then you start to get this relatability between artist and fan. And I Absolutely. Think you're just with your process, I think you're well on your way to establishing that. I know you have as well. You got a great following of people who are really engaging with what you're doing on social media. And is that as tough as it has been for the last year, and 9 years in LA, do you find that finding your passion in this music songwriting adventure, moving to Tennessee, be close to Nashville, which is a hub for more than just people always think Nashville and they associate country with it. I'm like, that town is so like country, R&B, hip hop, everything. I mean, it's everything. It's everything. The new LA.
Yeah, it really is. It's the LA of Tennessee for sure. Yeah.
But do you feel like you're able to utilize the social media platforms as a, I want to say a testing ground, but kind of a, like, I'm going to just kind of
flow some seeds out there. Yeah.
Let me see if this anything grows when I throw it out there. Yeah. And if the chickens come and start pecking at it, then you're like, oh, this must be a do you feel, are you utilizing those kind of avenues, for some kind of sampling of, okay, people are obviously into my sound and maybe I'll, continue on this path?
Yeah, it's definitely encouraging for sure. I mean, it's always nice to sort of get validation and assurance in a way for something that you actually really love to do. And at first I was so terrified to do it. I didn't think that I would ever start a music page, and so it was one of those things where I had a different account and I started kind of floating out just little covers of stuff of me just singing stuff. And then I would get responses and people would be like, dude, you need to post more of this stuff. I was like, okay, yeah, sure. I guess I don't really, so I started to do more covers, and then I had a buddy of mine who encouraged me to start a music page. And at the time it just was like, okay, I guess I'll just do it kind of for fun. And then, but I mean, people are being so encouraging to the point where it is really sort of pushing me to really, really pursue it, and so, yeah, I'm having so much fun with it. And I'm able to connect with a ton of people and meet a ton of people and which we apparently all run in the same circles, because Nashville I guess it's a small world. And I've met a lot of people just through social media that live really close to me that I'll be able to connect with and write songs with and stuff. So it's all kind of comes full circle. It's really cool.
It takes a special kind of, I think, internal drive to pursue anything I want to say anything in the arts, but really to first have the bravery to put yourself out there. That seems to be for a lot of people who aren't like full, like, all the cards in the table right away.
Yeah.
But There are people that are like that. It's like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do, and I don't care what anybody.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go and put all my chips into the middle.
Well, that's how it was with acting, but with music, it was just, it was different.
See, you have that trepidation of like, gosh, I'm really, especially on social media, because that's, they're not everybody's as nice as I am on social media. So,
you're very encouraging. Yeah, you're very nice.
Just try to be honest with people, and that's and sometimes people, they're just living in negativity land, and that's not a good place to be. But
a lot of trolls.
But to put yourself out there and to commit to it, it takes a certain sense of, it's a certain amount of inner drive to really have a passion for what you're doing, but also to be able to overcome those hurdles, whether that's, the challenge of location, whether it's a challenge of, going to a new area, not necessarily brand new for you, but even in a place like Nashville where it's super duper flooded with talent. But reaching out to find other artists that are in there, like what drives you? Like at your core, like what is the thing that you're like, you get up in the morning and whatever your routine happens to be, like the thing that like ignites you to be like, this is me today. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to do these things, and I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to put my music out there. I mean, thank God you did, because like I said, your voice is just, it's amazing.
Thank you, man.
Anybody watching in the comments, which my comments are over here now. Anybody watching over here, please go and check out Ty on Instagram, and some of his clips are on there. We'll play some of his song, but like what drives Ty on a day-to-day basis to get up and keep after it?
Yeah, that's a big question for sure. I mean, I'm a guy, I'm a man of faith. So I'm a Christian, and that's the biggest thing for me. So every morning I wake up and I'm wanting to glorify God with anything that I can do, but with artistry and with storytelling and stuff, like I just love stories, and I just want to get better, and I just want to connect with people, and I just want just to be as honest as I possibly can be. And there's times where I feel like it's almost a constant battle, and I know that this probably happens with most people, but mentally it's like internally, kind of like what you were saying, how it takes a certain drive to really push forward. And there are so many days where I find that perseverance is the key word in my life, because I really don't necessarily know what the future holds or what's going to happen with anything that I'm doing with this. But I know that my passion for music, my passion for storytelling, it fuels me for sure to keep moving forward and to want to put things out there that connect with people. So yeah, man, I mean, it's a lot of things, but at the end of the day, it's just, I think it's so rewarding, especially being able to persevere and move forward and have so much encouragement that I do. And obviously my parents are so supportive, and I have an incredible family. So they definitely fuel the fire for sure. But yeah.
Yeah. It takes like I've mentioned before, it takes such a special, belief in yourself to be able to go out and to put yourself out there and to do things that they're not abnormal. It's not, not weird, but to do things that other people that gravitate towards, to put music out there, to put art out there, to act, is something that you obviously have eyeballs on you and you have ears listening to your stuff. It takes a lot of courage to be able to pursue that, and to get up every day and be, obviously, as a man of faith, be thankful for blessings that you do have and the people that you have in your life, and then to continue to be able to want to get better, to want to improve, to want to learn. That is the toughest part for a lot of artists, I think, that are on the come up, is they're like, well, I wrote a song. I know I write songs now.
Yeah.
I got this figured out. It's all good. Yeah. I got this song. Like, we're good.
Co-write? No. Are you kidding? No, I'm good.
I don't need other people. I've got this all on my own.
And I'm the type, dude, like I'm like, hey, I have this, I'm trying to say this on paper. How do I articulate what I'm wanting to say? And that's why I have brilliant people that I'm friends with that are great writers and lyricists, that I'm like, how do I say what I'm trying to feel? Like, I have trouble articulating what I'm trying to say just in everyday life. So it's great to have people by your side that continue to push you forward when you feel like you don't fully believe in yourself, you don't have enough confidence for the day. And a lot of that is just feelings, and a lot of that is just perspective and a mindset that can be like, feelings are so fleeting, man. Like one day you can be so discouraged, and then somebody says something, and all of a sudden anything that was discouraging you in your mind just leaves immediately. And so, but yeah, it's a support system for sure. And I need that in order to move forward. I can't do it by myself.
Do you have a daily routine? I mean, I know you just moved, and you're getting probably your new routine. You putting stuff up on the walls,
right? Yeah, nothing on the walls. Everything's so white right now on my walls. There's nothing, dude.
A blank canvas. It's a blank.
There's nothing, man.
And
yeah, starting fresh.
Paper. Yeah, but
exactly.
But once you get settled, or maybe flash back to when you were in LA, do you have like a in California before you couldn't do anything in California?
Right.
Do you have like do you have a routine on a daily basis? Are you a workout guy? Like what gets you kind of up and rolling and ready to kind of conquer your day?
Yeah, I'll usually try to. I'm very active, but with 2020, dude, it was so like it was an excuse for me to not do anything. So I fell out of, and I just ate a ton of stuff. Like Domino's, I probably spent so much money on like Chipotle and Domino's, man. But like, I was just taking advantage of it. I'm like, this probably will never happen again. I pray that it doesn't. But so when I was locked in my studio, the gyms were shut down and everything, and that was a big part of my routine to kind of get me moving. But you find your ways. And so I now the gyms are back open, and I'm able to kind of wake up and just go straight there. And I'm a big cardio guy. So I feel like running is kind of a way to really, really kind of help me to just mellow out and just kind of just, whatever, just focus on what I have to do, in the upcoming day and stuff. And I pray a lot. So a lot of it is just kind of molded together for me to kind of get moving. But yeah. So, or I'll just watch a talk show and it'll inspire me, or, you know what I mean? Like just little things like that just kind of I'll grab and take from. And so, yeah.
No, I agree with you 100% on running. I started running a couple of years ago. Before that, I was the guy that was like, if you see me running, run with me, because there's scary things behind me. Like
right.
If Cooper's running,
I think I saw you running on a trail on your Instagram. Were you doing that this morning, like super early? Okay.
Yeah.
I
get up and get after it in the morning, and there's some great now that the winter thaw has kind of begun, but I still run. I still run during the winter.
Yeah.
But I went from the guy who was not, I would do workouts, I would do some plyometric stuff, but never was about running. That whole idea was like, seems silly to me.
I'm the same way.
But I started, and you're right when you talk about one way to really clear the mind of any of the cobwebs or the crap that's gone on, whether it was in the last day or even to start your day. Like nothing really gives you a sense of clarity more than running, because you're so focused on well, when I first started, not dying. Like I do not, like I feel like this is not
don't die
like I wanted to, but eventually, when you get into a rhythm and you kind of get your breath about you, that they say the first mile is a liar. So once you get past that first mile, like
great.
when you get done, like the mental clarity that you have,
amazing.
That's where creativity, I think, really starts, is when you have all the craps out, all the news headlines, all the BS is kind of done. You're like,
flush it out. Yeah.
This is what life looks like when you're not bombarded with stuff.
Yeah. You can actually think for yourself, and you can actually kind of just have some clarity and think on like, okay, what do I need to do today? What can I get done? And I was the same way, actually. I hated cardio. I grew up such a meathead football player. I was much stockier than I am now. And then I moved to LA, and everybody in acting was just like, oh, you gotta, get thin and get skinny and stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. So I had to really incorporate cardio, but I was so glad that I did, because it was like a piece that I never thought that I could have when you're running and you can just kind of clear your mind like that. It's really nice for sure.
Yeah. And I'm sure in the areas that you could run, I mean, there's you interpreting that scenery too. I mean, like you're talking about the video of me running on the trails and stuff. I run over a bridge and a beautiful lake, and
it's great.
In the morning, when you have that, I think there you get an appreciation for like the things that you would drive over that bridge and completely forget, like, oh yeah, it's whatever. I got to go to the store. I got to run to this place. But when you're like in that moment and you're staring at it, like, wow, this is really a special thing that I'm witnessing right now. And I'm sure, in California and things like that, when you can kind of really interpret, like, wow, this is a really cool place, or this is a really scary part of town. I don't want to run there anymore.
Right.
I'm going to go this way instead.
You become so much more aware of things, rather than driving, because you're just passing by everything, And then when you're running, it's like you become like more observant. Like I actually like discover places and discover trails and stuff like that, especially in California, man. Like there's so many trails there, and like you go to Malibu and run by the beach and stuff like that. Like you take advantage of that when you can, for sure. But yeah, whole 100% agree, for sure.
You talked about Ed Sheeran as somebody that you obviously you're tuned into, and kind of destructure his songwriting and the way he does things. Are there other artists out there that you really take inspiration from, or that you really kind of vibe with, that you listen to I want to say reverse engineer, but you go, yeah, that's a really good sound, or I really like what they're doing with their like, are there artists out there that you kind of gravitate towards?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I would probably classify myself as like acoustic pop. I'm very acoustic forward. I love that style. So Ed Sheeran obviously is especially in his earlier days, but James Bay is another guy that has some really cool, like, guitar forward, the simplicity of his stuff too is just awesome. And there's this other kid who was from American Idol last year, Francisco Martin, and he's just incredible. And he's very acoustic forward, acoustic pop, and he he just released his like 2 singles recently, and he's amazing, man. And he really inspired me to start writing songs and stuff. And then there's people like Taylor Swift that I'll just go and read her lyrics, and I'm like, the way that she articulates and the way that she can construct a sentence and have it be so packed with so much that you feel like you can touch it. It's almost like everything she writes is so tangible. You can it's really cool. So with that, like, I have different things that I pull from. So I have like a big arsenal of just different artists that I kind of like to study and stuff. But with Ed Sheeran, he has a songwriter documentary that I've watched probably like 20 times. And it shows his whole songwriting process, and it's cool. But yeah, I mean, I have plenty of other artists too, but I would say those are probably the top at the moment, for sure.
You mentioned American Idol. Obviously, there's a lot of those kind of shows that exist now. There's The Voice, and there's American Idol. There's, I don't know. So you're a masked dancer. I don't. There's
mask singer, dancer, mask singer, masks now. Yeah, everyone's wearing masks.
So you can lip sync in a mask. I'm not. It's weird. It's a
man. I know.
Out there. Do any of those avenues appeal to you? Like making a run at The Voice or making a run at American Idol. Do you think that could be an avenue that you pursue, or perhaps you have pursued?
It's funny you say that. I actually pursued both last year, and got right up to the final. Like, so it's with both. It's a series of auditions before you get to the actual audition. The aired audition. And so I got right up with The Voice. I went through 3 different auditions, singing wise. And obviously it was very different than how they would originally do it, because it was all because of COVID and everything. But it was all through Zoom, and it was an incredible experience. I didn't make it to the blinds. And then with American Idol, I didn't make it to the big 3, the judges and stuff. So, and both of those were happening at the same time. So it was kind of crazy, but I had so much fun with it. And I think American Idol, there's a cutoff. I think because I'm 28 now, so I think this would be the last time that I would be able to audition for that. But for The Voice, I think every year I'll probably audition for The Voice, just to, and to take the pressure off too, and just to have fun with it, and just to see what happens. But yeah, it was a blast, and it was a crazy experience. And I think it really established a lot of confidence, and got me out of my comfort zone for sure. But yeah.
Yeah. I think having, when you go through a process like that, and again, not really knowing the ropes, or how, like, okay, how does, especially
you're like an infant. You're just like I don't know what to do. Yeah.
Where do I put the spoon? I don't understand.
Right.
On my ear? I don't understand. Yeah. Same thing. You have to kind of be very observant and watch, and obviously have the instruction of, okay, here's how this works. And it was a weird year for everything.
Very weird.
But you kind of, it's like one of those things, like I kind of get conceptually how this is all pieced together now. Like
Sure.
I have an understanding of it. And now having a chance to go back and continually hone in on your craft and your songwriting and your singing capabilities, to go back and repursue something like that, like any fear, any trepidation that you may have had going into the first time, you're like, yeah, I know how this works now. Like I can get out of the park and keep the keep progress going forward now.
Yeah, been there, done that type of thing. And then it's just also like, it's just, you take the pressure off, like just have fun with it. At first I took it so serious, and I'm like, everything was so monumental, and it's like, it doesn't define you at the end of the day, whether you get on the show or not. There's plenty of people that have made a career out of doing what they love to do without being on a show that can promote what they do, but if I happen to be on that would be amazing. And if not, then that's fine, but it was just a fun experience overall. And I learned so much, but like you said, it's kind of like, it's just, not nearly as terrified. You know what to expect now. And it's, so you can just have more fun with it that way.
We'll see what happens in 2021 if
right.
life starts to, knock on wood, knock on something. Cause
I know, man. Yeah. We'll see. Things are starting to open back up. I feel like, so that's good.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what's the scene like down in Nashville?
Dude, everything, it's like night and day from LA. I'll tell you that. It was kind of a culture shock. LA is still very shut down. And I couldn't do anything there for like the entire year. So when I came here, I first went to Florida to meet my parents for like the month, because I have a place in Florida, but everything was open in Florida, and that was nuts. But it was amazing. And then I came here, and now everything is, it's like everything's open, but they encourage you to wear masks. They say that you should wear masks, or they try to like, have a mandate, but they don't really care at the end of the day. It's like, if you have a mask on, that's great. If you don't, then that's great. It's like, I think they're kind of letting you have a little bit more freedom with it. So it just depends on what your opinion is on it. But yeah.
I think that's so, I mean, for a place like Nashville, especially, because I think a lot of the magic happens in those off chance meetings of somebody, or crossing paths, whether it's at like an open mic night, or there's a showcase, or there's a bar thing. Like you run into somebody, or they happen to hear you, or somebody misses their slots. You're like, oh, I'll come up and I'll throw it. Like all those stories that you hear about artists who get discovered like in these just weird, random, coincidental ways. Like when that is not available, I feel like you're missing out on things. But it's good to hear that those avenues are open back up, because I mean, to find somebody who you could write a song with, or like, hey, we're jamming and doing this thing over at this place. I mean, I think that's so key for a place like Nashville to be open and do those kind of things, because that's where the magic happens.
For sure. I think that pushed so many people to focus on social media stuff too. Like, but it's amazing. And people are doing Skype, Zoom songwriting sessions and stuff now too. So, and it's almost like Zoom has become so convenient I don't think that'll ever stop at this point, because I think people have become so accustomed to it, and it is a really cool, convenient way. But it is like, you're right. Like that, when that avenue is really cut off, it's like you have to really rearrange what you're doing to kind of put yourself out there. But it is nice that everything is open, for sure.
Right. I think the old way of the songwriting, getting together in a room, I think that still is viable. But think of the opportunity that opens up when you have somebody who's maybe in a different location, or only has this availability, can't make the trip into, like, all of a sudden you have these opportunities to be able to, co-write, or we're going to do a writer circle with somebody, even if they're in a different country or a different state. I should have invested in Zoom, is what I'm saying, before this all started.
Dude, it's amazing. It really is. It changed your life, at least for COVID. But,
I mean, even like in this application I use, a StreamYard thing, like I never would have thought about doing some stuff. I was doing some StreamYard things, and it's kind of clunky, and all of a sudden they have this, like, oh yeah, we have this thing that you can do that with, and it just blew. Like, radio is using it all the time to
that's amazing.
Have these kind of conversations. I'm like,
you
need to start forward thinking. Think about what's happening.
All of us, man.
We're gonna
all of us, dude.
Throw my money down. It was should have been GameStop and Bitcoin and StreamYard and Zoom. Like, I'm just missing out.
I had never heard of StreamYard. I was like, what? But this is great. It's super convenient. Yeah, it's amazing.
Application really helps, and I as an old radio geek, like I like totally overdo it though. Like I have, like you're up on like a big screen TV right now. Like I'm seeing it. That's why
for real? Oh man, see, you're like this tiny on my phone right now.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
So I have you here, and then I have like your song is right here on the iPad, and then the MacBook is down here recording it in Audition. I have like an 8-channel mixer over here, obviously, and I got the
man,
like, totally overdo stuff. It's ridiculous.
You got the full setup. That's awesome though. That's amazing.
Yeah, and then like laundry,
and then just somewhere over there there's clothes.
Laundry is in like
over there. Yeah, there's dishes around. It's just figured out. Yeah.
Hey, but you sent me a clip of a new single. So I'm gonna let you introduce it, and then I'm gonna throw it down. We got 27 seconds, so they shouldn't shut us down on the streaming.
Okay. Perfect.
But it's your song, so we should be good.
Yeah. So it's just a chorus of a new single that's going to be coming out, and I think the next few weeks it's almost done. It's I wrote it as a love ballad. It's a really more of a wedding ballad, and I wanted to kind of just cue in on like a wedding song. And so the song is really about the progression of a relationship from the first time you meet someone till spending the rest of your life with them, and so it kind of is like a full circle love song for sure. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, here we go. Let's give it a listen. Make sure I don't screw this up.
There you go.
There it is.
That's 27 seconds. That was quick.
Let me see if I'm trying to start that over. See if it.
Oh, you're good.
Play it twice. There it is.
Hanging on the edge, I'm jumping, falling like I never fallen for you, for you, for you.
That is guy. There it is. There it is. There it is. Fallen. Awesome. Ty LaPlaunt, man. That's beautiful. I told you,
bro.
That voice is it's killer, man.
Thank you, dude.
Tell people where they can find you on the social medias so that they can connect and hear all your amazing jams that you're throwing down.
Yeah, so I guess my display name at Ty LaPlaunt Music. That's my Instagram page. It's really Instagram is the only place as far as music and covers and stuff like that. So I'll build upon that, but right now Instagram is like the core place where you can find me, and I'll be promoting the single and other covers and stuff like that on there for now until I expand my horizons. So
dude, just even that little clip, man, that little clip. Yeah. Hang on, we'll throw some comments on here.
Thanks, buddy.
Sounds awesome. Joe's jumping on there.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it, dude.
Great voice. Yeah. See, we got people jumping on here to listen to that stuff. Go follow Ty. Go follow him. Wait for that song to drop. So hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll have the final version. You have to send that my way, man.
I definitely will, man. I absolutely will, dude. Thank you so much for everything, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, dude. Thank you for the time and for the conversation. Great to get to know you more. And we'll get you back on here when the song comes out. We'll talk more, and we'll get some decorations up on your walls. It'll be amazing.
I can't wait. It'll be a better background than this the next time for sure.
Hey, I get it, man. It's life throws you curveballs, and
I know.
I'm glad that we finally got to connect, and we'll chat
Me
soon.
Too, man. All right, buddy. Thank you so much, man. Have a good one.
Ty LaPlaunt right here on Cooperville Live. Dude, I can't wait till that song comes out. Like I'm so excited. Just hearing that little clip of it that he sent me today, I was like, damn, dude's doing it up good. Jesse Westover in the house. What's going on, buddy? Hey, thanks for watching on the Twitch. I appreciate it. That was great. It was great having Ty LaPlaunt on at Ty LaPlaunt Music on all the social media. So make sure you go and follow him, specifically Instagram. I think he's only doing Insta right now. So that's super cool. Good to see all of you hanging out on Facebook Live, on YouTube, and on the Twitch. Jesse, thanks for jumping on Twitch, buddy. Appreciate that. Make sure you follow whatever platform you're watching on. Make sure you give a follow, give a subscribe. And we got a big announcement at the end of the show about Monday's guest. Jesse, you're going to want to tune in for that because it's going to blow your mind. It blew my mind. It's going to blow your mind. If you remember the Patreon, you already know who is coming up on Monday, but I'm so fucking excited. Like I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am for Monday's guest who's going to be on the show. I'm telling you, join that Patreon. It's going to be ridiculous, man. I'm going to throw See if this will drop in here because I got a bunch of stuff running. There we go. If you want to join the Patreon, we got 3 different levels, but we dropped the info on everybody about who's going to be on Monday. We got a big week next week. A lot of guests, a lot of artists. Be super exciting. So jumping on, we're going to take a 5-minute break. We're going to come back, talk some more headlines. We have Derek Skelton coming up. He's got a new song. It's called Island Girl. He is also a staff sergeant in the United States Air Force. We'll talk to him about that. Currently stationed in Hawaii. That is living the dream. Well, he's doing his thing. So we'll talk to Derek coming up just after 6 o'clock. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Hold your pants. Stand by. Nope. And we're back, Cooperville Live. Thank you for cranking us up, having us tuned in on a Friday. Big thanks to Ty LaPlaunt for being a part of the show, for sending us the clip of the music. Fallen, excuse me, going to be out in hopefully a couple weeks. So we'll have some new tunage from him at Ty LaPlaunt Music on all of the social medias. More specifically, though, over on the on Instagram. So definitely want to check him out. And thank you to all of you who are tuned in, whether it's on Facebook Live or it's on YouTube or it's on the Twitch. I appreciate all of you for being a part of the show. Again, we got the new camera thing, so I got to figure out my angle. Looks like I'm like doing some. It's really just me moving my camera around. So don't get too excited about the show. Monday show, by the way, the announcement about Monday's show is coming up at the end of today's show. Patrons who are on the Patreon, you know already who's coming up on Monday. It's gonna be a big show, so we're super excited about that. And I'm super excited as I see Derek Skelton is hanging out in the green room. We're going to bring him in just a bit. Dude, this is another one of those magical stories of a dude's song that comes across on Instagram, and I'm like, let me dive a little bit deeper into this fella. And it turns out not only is he a fantastic musician, he's also a member of the United States military, the Air Force, which, you know how I roll. Those are my boys and girls. I'm equal, boys and girls. Don't take that out of context. Love them all the veterans, all the servicemen and women. But Derek is in the green room and now live on Cooperville Live. Hey, brother, first off, thank you for your service. And secondly, thank you for joining the show.
Thank you for having me.
And you're over in Hawaii, and I'm sure it's probably, the weather probably sucks over there. It's probably, just horrible. Nobody likes it.
Yeah, it's just cold and it's just snow everywhere. It's terrible. So
I have a feeling it's probably fairly decent, but I do want to say thank you for agreeing to come on here, and just reading your story has been it's super cool, because first off, your service, that is obviously that's something you have to dedicate yourself to, and you take a pride in, and then music comes into play, and the logistics of that, how that all works out, and there's a Nashville tie-in, so you're back and forth, and I'm surprised that you're still awake, man. If I were you, I'd be taking a nap all the time with all the things I had going on in my mind. But tell me about getting into music, because it feels like for you, it started at a very young age when music found its way into your life.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I've always been doing it as a little kid. I grew up doing stuff in school and stuff like that. But my dad is also a musician. He's a singer as well. So I get it from him, and so it's always been a passion of mine. And I finally got a chance to kind of do it professionally. I do have to balance military and music, but so it's exciting to actually do it on a professional level now. So
do you you talk about your dad being an influence, like who as far as artists, like who is your influence as you were growing up, and you're like, yeah, this is my sound, this is my guy or my gal, this is my genre? Like, who are those artists growing up that you really gravitated towards to kind of influence you into pursuing this as a double career?
Right. So really, I grew up listening to everything. I loved R&B and soul, loved country, loved rock, but I grew up listening to a lot of Goo Goo Dolls, a lot of Gavin DeGraw, stuff like that. But a lot of kind of soulful type stuff, like Gavin DeGraw, a lot of Mark Broussard, stuff like that. So I like pulling some of that soulfulness, but really I listen to everything. So, and that's how it's always been. So
so you're into music. It's influenced you from a very young age. Like, is there military in your family? Like, when did you make the decision to pursue pursue time in the service? Like, when did that, was it in high school, obviously? When did you decide that Air Force was going to be a place you wanted to go?
Yeah, so I have a lot of family that's in the military, was in the military. And so I originally I'm active duty right now, but I started off in the reserves, which my uncle's in the reserves, Air Force. And so he was kind of an influencer on that. And so I think I was kind of lost. I wasn't sure what I was doing. I didn't feel like the music was really doing much for me. I was giving up a little bit, unfortunately. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna branch off and do something else. I joined the U.S. Air Force, the reserve. So I did that for 7 years, and then went active duty about 3 years ago. And so, but I've gotten the chance somebody found me on Instagram, and I got to go record, and so I've kind of brought the music back to life pretty much. So, but there for a while I was kind of fading off. I was kind of giving up on myself, but
Do you have a chance over there to share some of your music, to sit down and grab a guitar and play for the guys and gals over there where you're stationed in Hawaii? Do you have some time to share your music with your fellow servicemen and women?
I try. It's been kind of tough with the whole COVID thing, but I try my best to try to kind of sit down with friends and stuff, and I'll play it for them. And I've done some stuff at the church and stuff like that, but I haven't gotten to do as much as I want. But it looks like things are starting to turn around, and so I think hopefully I'll get a chance to actually do some live stuff. So I'm excited for that. So
yeah, that has to be. I want to say it's kind of twofold, because COVID, active military, stationed in Hawaii,
it's tough.
Mecca. There's so many moving parts right here. But has it given you some time, obviously outside of your active duty service? Has it given you more time to like hone in on some writing skills, and I know you have the new song that's out, Island Girl, which we're going to talk about, but has it given you some time, because those other options aren't available right now, to really kind of refocus on your craft?
Oh, absolutely. Well, and there was a period of time kind of when everything hit, that we weren't really in the office very much. We weren't working all that much. So it gave me a lot of time to really start writing. And I would do it every night. I would sit down at night and I would just come up with as much stuff as I could. And I've gotten, and that's created a habit for me now. And I do a lot more writing than I have before. And so I just, I have a whole book of just all kind of lyrics, and, they may be good, maybe bad, but I just write, and I get better and better. So yeah, so it's definitely, there's been some good come out of it.
And I think that is so key, to find a silver lining in all of what the last year has been, and not just with COVID, but there's, let's just say it's been a little tense here and there. Yeah. I'll try to keep it as PC as we can, but it's, things that were a little tense for a while in a couple of different arenas, but to be able to look back at the last year, and even though there was a lot of, obviously there was struggle, and there was massive changes to, I'm sure, how you guys operate over there in Hawaii, in the military, just because restrictions, you couldn't do stuff. But to be able to go, hey, as much as it wasn't ideal, I still was able to take some real benefit out of having some extra time, maybe, to focus on things. And so I think that is so key to having a positive attitude about what the last year plus has been like.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So Island Girl is the single. It is currently out. It's man, I'm just jealous. I'm just saying, we're in Wisconsin. We just lost our last inch of snow from what we had over the course of winter time and stuff. But tell me about writing Island Girl and being able to record it and get it out for people to listen to.
Well, so that was one of those songs that I wrote kind of during quarantine, and I had some time off, and so I do as much as adventuring and surfing and diving and all that stuff I can on the island. So, and it's a different lifestyle here in Hawaii. So the lyrics itself, they really describe kind of that lifestyle. I mentioned Haleiwa, it's up in the North Shore, and it kind of gives you a picture of what it's like living here in Hawaii, and the whole, the Island Girl thing. And so I was excited to actually record that. I had showed it to some friends and played it for them. It's like, that's really catchy. And, they'd be they'd be singing it. They wouldn't even notice it. They'd just be singing it. So I knew it would be a catchy song. And so I brought that to Nashville with some other songs, and I was real excited to record it. And I've actually got some good feedback on it. People, they love how catchy it is, and it kind of gives them that. It's a nice summer song, it's fun to listen to and sing along with. So I'm proud of it. So
there's been a couple of artists that have made a career out of writing songs about those kind of vibes. Kenny Chesney, Jimmy Buffett. You know what? Nobody's happier. Maybe Sammy Hagar. We'll throw him in there too. Nobody's happier than those two guys. I'm telling you. You may have a thing there.
All those like Jimmy Buffett, and you got Margaritaville and stuff. They're catchy, and they definitely, when you're out on the beach or on a boat and you're having some drinks. I mean, it's one of those songs I think is perfect for that occasion. So.
How does that work though? You going back and forth to Nashville? Is it a giant pain? Do you have to schedule out 6 months? I mean, with active duty and all your responsibilities there in Hawaii where you're stationed, how difficult is it to get back to the States, or to get back to the continental States, and then to Nashville to have some time to write and to record?
So, I've got to balance, I've got things that I have to do as far as military. I have training that I have to go to, and just there's stuff I have obligations. So I really have to kind of fit around that. So I'll take leave. I have a certain number of days I can take off, and I'll take some of those days, and it goes solely towards recording. I'm not really taking vacation per se. I'm really going to the studio to work and get that done, and then I come back here and do my job here. So I make sure I find time to get to Nashville and get my music, recorded and all that stuff. So it's tough, but it's worth it. So.
Do you have like long-term goals? Like, I feel like your boss, like, what's your 5-year plan? But when you talk about like moving forward with your military career and with your music career, like, where do you see it going? Do you feel it leaning one direction? I mean, you put in a ton of time, and again, thank you for serving our country, and I have a huge heart for all those who serve and all those who have served. But do you feel like at the end of the path that is your military career, and as you intertwine your musical talents into it, that the music goes after that? Like, what does it look like in the future for you as far as what your life looks like?
Well, for me, it's slowly kind of making that transition to more music for me. I plan to kind of keep I'm active duty right now, but I plan to maybe do it more of a part-time thing, and really start focusing more on my music, because now I've kind of got my foot in the door. I have a studio I record at. I've been writing, and I'm really making good stuff, and I'm working with great people. So I don't want to slow down. So I'm certainly gonna start, hammering the music a lot harder than I've had in the past. So it'll be more of a more music focused probably.
Here's the big question though. So you start to go reserve in the military, and you start to put your music career on the front burner a little bit. Like, where do you base yourself out of? I mean, how tough is it going to be to leave the island and come back to the States? I've thought about that. That's been going through my head. I was like, man, it's gonna be tough to leave this island. I mean, it's just, but I think it's worth it as far as the music, and I'll be closer to family, and it's a whole lot easier to travel on the mainland. So it'll be tough because I've really gotten used to this life. I've been here for, I think, going on 3 years now, and it'll be tough leaving, but it'll be worth it, I'm hoping. Yeah, you can always go back. You can always set some tour dates up there on Oahu, and
exactly.
Call it a weekend trip. Well, hey, Derek, I want to say this again. Hearing your song, hearing Island Girl, I love how Instagram is like, now it feels like it's just me because I'm selfish, but it feels like it's force feeding me like all these amazing artists that are putting their music out there and utilizing social media as an avenue to get it out. And I think has that been something that you've focused up? Shows are obviously something you can't do. You can't go out and perform these days. Have you really found a focus on social media to use that as an avenue to keep that music career kind of progressing in the direction you want it to go?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's amazing what social media you can do through social media. If it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, it's not everybody's able to get out and do live shows right now. And other people have different situations, but I mean, it really gives a way to get thousands or millions of people to see your stuff. And so I'm thankful that we have that kind of platform like that to use. I mean, Instagram has been great. I even I'll do the old TikTok thing. It's just another way for me to get views on my stuff, and it's been great. And it's awesome that we have that kind of thing to be able to get your music out and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, as many artists as I've talked to, I did 20 years in radio and then started a podcast 2 years ago and now doing the live stream stuff. I mean, as much as the industry has changed, and it's so different than what it used to be when, they used to, use like reel tape, like reel to reel. And, but now having the capabilities of exposure without all of the you need the record label and you need to have the team and you got to have it's amazing that you can really find talent like hidden in the rough, because there is these outlets for people to get their songs out there. And I mean, you see artists that don't get much radio play, but they have huge following and they're able to have a great successful career. But that Island Girl song, man, that has radio written all over it, man. For a guy that's spent years in it, I'm like, yeah, I'm hearing this even in the summertime in Wisconsin. People are going like, yeah, that's my jam. The Island Girl.
Awesome. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, there's so many great artists out there, and it's, people are getting discovered every day just because of social media. And so it's just, I mean, it's awesome. There's I've watched so many people on social media. I'm like, man, these people are awesome. Why are they not, huge right now? So, yeah. Yeah,
that's the crazy thing. What I think you've seen though is people get discovered on social media and then they blow up. The Old Town Road song went from like this TikTok phenomenon to like the most played song in history over the course of a year. So people have seen those avenues are available to them and definitely taking advantage of it. And I think, congratulations on Island Girl and for getting your music out there and really developing an audience who, imagine when you get that audience in an arena and you can play a show for them, Derek. That's going to be the payoff right there, man.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I can't imagine it, but I can't wait till something like that happens, because I just, I think it's just be a surreal moment if I can manage to have something like that. So,
well, it's not if, my friend, it's when. When. Keep that momentum going. At Derek_Skelton on Instagram and on TikTok, and you can find him on Facebook as well. Congratulations, man, on the song. I love it. I think it'll find the right path and it'll be a huge hit. And for your service, I appreciate it. Take care of yourself, and hopefully we'll see you back here in the continental United States and at a live sometime very soon, my friend.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Awesome, Derek. Take care of yourself, man. Much love. Derek Skelton, Island Girl. Go listen to that song right now. Make it a part of your Friday evening. We got like 55 degrees in Wisconsin. It feels like basically summer. Go listen to Island Girl and put yourself in a mental place where you're hanging out on the beach of Oahu. And it's an amazing song. Derek Skelton on the show. And me, with those who serve our country, they right here, love it. And not bad from Hawaii, right? Joe's jumping on here. His dad was in the Air Force. So got some Air Force familia up in here. My mom's on. Hi, Mom. I'm from California. Good to see you, Mom. Thank you to Derek for joining us. It's like middle of the afternoon there in Hawaii, so I appreciate his time. Ty LaPlaunt, thank you for his time as well. Great Friday show. A lot of great music out there. And hopefully, I want to use this avenue for all of you who jump on the show. And I know Joe does this. Joe does this all the time. He goes and follows these bands and listens to their music and falls in love with them. That's the thing, is like all these artists that we're giving them an avenue to find some discovery and for me to find great music to share with you and both those artists today. Absolutely fantastic. So I appreciate their time and their stories and the music, most importantly. So that will do it for Friday's show on Cooperville Live. I thank you all for tuning in. I will tell you, if you're a part of the Patreon, you know this already, but I will tell you, coming up on Monday's show, CEO of Lions Not Sheep Clothing, the man, the myth, the legend, Sean Whalen, is on this program. Yes, the Sean Whalen joins the program on Monday afternoon, and we're going to talk about a whole bunch of, he will have so much to say. I may just sit back and listen. But Lions Not Sheep CEO Sean Whalen is on the show coming up on Monday. He will be on at 5:45. Dr. J is back on the show on Monday as well at just after 5:10. So we will talk to him about a whole bunch of different motivational stuff. But Sean is, Joe knows. Yeah, I know. I was shocked too. I'm like, really? You really want to be on my show? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Sean Whalen on the show on Monday. So definitely be a part of that. And we're going to start sharing the ad mats and stuff for that show. But it's going to be a big one. So I encourage you all to tune in, be a part of Monday's show. If you, I'm sorry, you're over here. If you in the comments, or if you down there in the comments, don't know who Sean Whalen is, just search Lions Not Sheep on Instagram, and you will get a great perspective of who this man is. Because dude is an inspiration. He's an entrepreneur. He's an author. He is a coach. He has the Lion's Den, teaching young entrepreneurs, and well, not just young, but all entrepreneurs, how to conquer life. That is going to be a killer show coming up on Monday. I hope you are a part of it. Please be a part of it. Y'all have a great weekend. Let me grab my latte. Y'all have a great weekend. Cheers to beers. We're going to enjoy the weather while we have it, folks. And I join the show on Monday. Starts at 5 o'clock. Dr. J. LaGuardia and Sean Whalen of Lions Not Sheep on the program on Monday. Until we see each other again, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Be free. Be a king. We'll chat soon.